shoulder peeking and not really revealing too much of your presence.
Of course, that long range is always terrifying if you're up against a USP, one tap to the head, and you're dead. It does seem that AVEZ are going to stick to their same plan. Marcos rushing out mid. And the entirety of the team towards B. Tap. And immediately falls back because he has no idea what's going on in connect. Actually going for the re-peek, which is very dangerous. Does not get the flick connection, but they're heading up connector, so he's probably going to have to call those rotations in quickly. Like right now.
They are making their way back up to the A-bomb site. It looks like at least one player in the form of Nora is bringing the kit, but now after they've spotted some more players from NORDAVIND, they are bringing up Kai as well and just holding aggressive positions on B short to make sure it's not a connector wrap into the lower bomb site. Marcos at close range finds the opening headshot but can't convert onto Fates, and Croman's found Nora in the meanwhile. Now Bialy from Bank is trying to open up for some USP kills, but it's Kyler on the flank who has the best opportunity to do so. He's struggling with his USP at the moment, and Tensky tears him apart. Fates now taking down Bialy, leaves Kai isolated, and he can't find any either. AVEZ unsuccessful in the pistol round of their map pick, and this could now be NORDAVIND getting off to the beneficial economic start.
That's a nice opener there for NORDAVIND, also for Fates. Of course, the new player starting off with a nice 3k to pad those stats. They're going to pick up 2 MAC-10s, a Galil, and 2 AKs with almost max utility, whereas AVEZ, not surprising, well, actually kind of surprising, triple scout force up. That is pretty interesting. That nade, however, could do so much, where they all need to just get tagged one time by the scout, but you still need to get that tag in, Marcos.
Struggling a little bit. The MAC-10s are coming. At least that flash has bailed him out of 1 kill. He's tagged Croman down slightly further, but the Galil has claimed him. Now Kyler is a little bit worried. Bialy also no armor to support that scout, so it's all about connecting the early shots. But against these low HP players, if they can tag down the max players just to 50 HP even with these scouts, the Deagles just become an absolute machine in the bomb site at tearing apart those low HP T sides and making sure they can't get into the bomb site.
Oh, nice shot from Nalrot. HS pushing forward, a 2-for-2 trade, but the players are pretty low. Only HS has full HP. Never mind, he gets tagged. That scout from Bialy chimes in for a second shot, gets rid of Fate. And now Kyler, 1 versus 2. HS almost no HP. Scout versus AK now. Shot gets whiffed. He goes on top, but there is still Kai nearby. He needs to shut this down, but Kai is going to get the shot through the smokes and get rid of HS. And there we have AVEZ taking the second round with that triple scout setup.
It's a nice attempt from HS to try and recover the round for NORDAVIND. Gets a triple kill in the process, but just can't quite put things over the line. NORDAVIND now look as though they're going to be forcing up again here in round number 3, because it would be a double eco regardless for them. And actually there's an AK out on Tensky, but it's a bit of a long time before they end up getting purchased. That's going to allow the CTs all of the positioning they want towards Fountain and Playground, and you're going to have to be late peeking now into them. But AVEZ don't actually have the awareness of that. They back away and instead to hold connector, where all 5 players of NORDAVIND pretty much are waiting. They're just holding the angles, making sure no one flanks down the ladder, and they want to go and remove this connector presence. It means that between Kyler and Marcos, if they can find 2 or 3 kills, that's the important factor. Kyler's got 2 on his own, and now the Pistols are desperate to try and find some impact.
Nice flash coming up from short to do the work there. Marcos is also in connector. Will they expect him? Yes, Fates does spot him out and shoots the head clean off. The only problem that NORDAVIND pretty much have is the fact that their entire buy has absolutely 0 utility whatsoever. So they do manage to pick up a flash, at least, from the corpse. But this flank from Bialy, is it going to shut down the big player? Yes, the AK has been removed. Fates will be recovering it right now. Does only have 12 HP though, and Bialy needs to try and cross. Oh, turns around, spots them both out. They line up perfectly, and a double spray down for Bialy. Another one for AVEZ, and that forces NORDAVIND on an eco.
The The Polish veteran makes it look easy in that round with a triple kill, getting his squad out of danger and lining them both up at the end of the round. Now it's the NORDAVIND full eco, and the 3-1 scoreline expected by AVEZ off the back of this one. Marcos gonna be hunting down some bonus cash if possible to help with his efforts of investing into an AWP, but it's more likely that a player like Norat is going to be investing his bank into putting a big sniper rifle out in the next round, especially considering he's finding kills in this one. Secures the first very early, and the rest of NORDAVIND, they just run straight into these rifles. Nothing they're getting done on the B bomb site whatsoever, and they look ahead to the first full gun round here in number 5.
Pretty much just a straight rush, see if you can get anything going, one flash over, and hope to overwhelm the enemies. But once they start spraying the smoke at the start, you are already done for. There's going to be Marcos picking up that big green stick to try and shut down NORDAVIND quickly on their push. They're not running around with an op themselves, which, to be fair, on Overpass, you can definitely T-side op. It is a pretty decent map for that.
It's certainly possible, especially when the CT side is so predicated on having your AWP find the opening pick. If you can predict it, you can counter it, but Marcos, he doesn't predict that Kroman swings across. Instead, it's Kyler who takes down Hara from the bottom of this connector angle, and he's going to get 2 more massive kills with the M4A1S. Tensky now in a 1 versus 3 scenario, does find the opener onto Norat, but there are 2 armored AKs that have utility to work with, hunting him down currently. Actually, Kai is in an aggressive angle. If he gets picked off isolated, that would just be a 1-on-1 for Tensky, but instead, NORDAVIND player is going to be making his way down into the B bomb site by the looks of things. It doesn't look like anyone's there to stop him, but they are making their way in on the flank.
Yeah, that was so far decent enough by Tensky. He will probably not expect the site to be completely empty and that they're both rotating through the short area, but they need to make sure that they don't make a sound when they're dropping down. Very crucial point, of course. They are so close. This bomb plant actually might just over-rotate right now. Tensky gets in water, but he'll turn his back towards short, and Kai will definitely pounce on that situation. Right there, will get the kill on Tensky, and for AVEZ, this should never happen that Kyler gets himself a double there. Especially I think that was HS. I don't remember who it was exactly, but the player that jumped. That's just you'll never connect a shot while jumping, so you're putting yourself at a massive disadvantage. And I know that you want to go for the run boost kind of idea, but it just completely put you as a sitting duck in the sky.
Yeah, unfortunately they don't quite get the timing right on the push. I think he's just trying to distract Kyler there from firing at both of them at once by making him, be confused between 2 targets almost, but that is the opposite of what happens. He just hunts them both down, and that round goes swiftly towards AVEZ. Now with pistols and scraps of utility, NORDAVIND look like they're going to try and break into the B bomb site. All of their smokes down. They're going to be rushing through Monster, but they're smoked off by the CTs as well. Very little damage yet found by NORDAVIND as they get cleaned away by the rifles. Tensky does take down Kyler, but the bomb's been dropped for Norat, and he'll get a triple kill. As the IGL for this AVEZ side, he is starting off rather nicely indeed with 7 kills to his name. NORDAVIND have finally got a T-side AWP out now, though.
Let's see how Fates is going to handle that opping power right now, because they're going to need something more to push them over the edge. Marcos did have a nice double opener last round. Single opener last round to keep NORDAVIND honest. Fates with the smoke, of course. The cross. Actually, that shot from Marcos was pretty close, but unfortunately not close enough. Long is going to be held by Kyler in the meantime, and by Marcos. They're doubling up as so that they can do the bait and switch. Tensky is actually creeping towards that B bomb site, but you have to get past K first, and that is a terrifying prospect indeed.
I'm going to try and forward towards the A bomb site, but there's a lot of A long control from AVEZ, and Norad's taken down the B lurker of Tensky now as well. The Polish IGL is having a great start to overpass. Fate's peeking straight into Marcos, and he is going to be hitting that shot. Double man advantage now for AVEZ as NORDAVIND try and collapse in on this A bomb site. Bialy behind a smoke awaiting his team, but peeking out early and maybe getting 2 kills off the back of it. The flash from Marcos is beautiful, and Kai cleans up Hara at the end. NORDAVIND really struggling on this T side at the moment as AVEZ continue their streak of rounds.
Harry is still on 0 kills, and he completely sprayed over Kai's head. That's unfortunate. He really needs that opening kill to start. Well, to get his game going, normally you just need that opening kill in this situation, and then the floodgates are open. So they need to find something. They didn't get the bomb plant in, so they can't get themselves a full buy either.
Now we can talk about our partners over at Hellcase. If you use codes MaltaV and MaltaV15, you can save more and grab what you deserve. And quite interestingly, actually looking at this NORDAVIND roster, and it doesn't look as though Fate is the permanent addition to this squad, just playing as a stand-in today. With that information in mind, it could actually be a rather difficult series for them to work with on the back of this one, although he is listed in their official roster on HLTV, so I'm wondering if that's just a case of Liquipedia not being as up to date at the moment. But no, I do think it is Fates just playing as a stand-in here, but perhaps a long-term stand-in while they look for a permanent player.
Yeah, that might be the case. They might be looking for another star opper somewhere in the region. Not saying that Fates doesn't have what it takes, of course, but they did lose a big player to the Dignitas boys. Yeah, NORDAVIND. They have enough for a reasonable execute, probably the B side, actually, with the smoke, molly, and the flash to try and push through. Don't think that the A site really is that easy to take with only that amount of utility. It is going to be pretty tough to cross into it, especially with Kyler looking for some frags as well. The weaponry is rather lackluster on NORDAVIND, but deagle headshots can definitely come through, especially for on Kyler's position. Right behind that, is that a garbage bin? I don't even know what it exactly. I assume a garbage bin. Where he beats his head over and then they just get the shot in. Does need to be careful on the repeak.
He's dancing around the smoke rather well, but it's about timing this aggression perfectly, and he does not quite get it right. Croman and Fates get the opening 2 kills. Hara can follow up now with an AK-47 headshot of his own, but Kai might just be stabilizing until the AK rings out for more and leaves Bialy in a 1-on-2. He's tagged that deagle down very low, and with no plant, he's going to swing out to deny, but Hara gets it all done. Big 3K with the AK-47, and that is the second round on the board for NORDAVIND.
He starts off with a kill on the AK and immediately starts bumping them down on the AVEZ side. Harry going in big in that round, and that's what they needed on NORDAVIND. They needed him to wake up so that they finally have a shot at shutting down this AVEZ defense very successfully so, and it is... Well, AVEZ does not have the most amount of money still left in the bank. They could buy a very weak buy next round. Oh, nice molly thrown in, so they can't get aggressive towards B short. And that makes the defense of AVEZ a little bit flustered right now. They're going to go for the boost. If they can get a spot out towards short, but Harry is very close. Oh, that's so incredibly close. The squeaky door. Is Croman gonna open it? No, he's not. They're just gonna walk away and disengage on AVEZ with their aggression, even though Harry could have been caught off there if you just waited 3 seconds longer.
They still have a decent amount of utility to work with, but only 2 smokes. HS has actually just walked out of Monster without needing any utility right now. That's great news for NORDAVIND because they can wait before they deploy these fire nades and these smokes. Oh my god, Croman, what on earth is that? He just descends on both of them from the heavens. Double headshot lines the pair of them up on the B bomb site, and that's good night, Mr. AVEZ. Up you go back to the A bomb site. Save those 2 rifles because you're not breaking into B.
That was a nice hero play right there. They just completely got decimated. Nothing they could do in that half a second where they just got both double tapped. And now Marcos and Kyler are on that save. As we said, their economy is not in the greatest position, but if they save those two weapons, they definitely can buy into the next with a reasonably healthy buy. But they just need to make sure that both of them are staying alive. The T's are not going to go for the hunt. They know they actually have a lot of money on the NORDAVIND side currently because they won that one eco with a decent amount of players alive. In this round as well, a lot of players alive.
Check this out again. Look at that. That is ridiculous. Absolute scenes in the B bomb site. But it's NORDAVIND up on 3, and AVEZ actually investing into a double AWP setup now in the 10th round of the first half. They'd rather not lose control of their economy at the later stages of the half, because that really does give the opportunity for NORDAVIND to build up momentum. So they're going to try and win this one with double AWPs, but the flash deters Marcos from going for an early peek, instead backing away passively. But it's long control that NORDAVIND want, and it's long control that they have.
Yeah, they get gifted that long control. Marcos, they might not expect the NORDAVIND squad to have pushed up this far already. I think Bialy might hear a step coming up. No, they're now slow walking. Bialy's back is turned. He's going to fall back to sight. I think he did just spot out Croman, but Harry shuts him down. There's luckily Kyler and Marcos chiming in as well. Tensky trying to duel the Opera right now, and Marcos is actually stuck between both Fates and Tensky. However, Fates is also kind of stuck right now because he needs to keep an eye on two different angles. Tensky will get the kill on Marcos, but Tensky is down to 11 HP. Picks up the op because he needs those two bullets to connect. The boost comes out, and the boost is going to be successful. He almost snuffed them out, but unfortunately, Kai was quicker on that trigger finger. And that will be another one for AVEZ. NORDAVIND do definitely still have enough money for a full buy, though.
AVEZ just about keep their money alive to buy up into round number 11. They'll have the rifles and AWP that they were hunting for, but they've not quite broken the NORDAVIND economy just yet. They've got full AKs and an AWP of their own to work with in this round, and they are going to be hungry to score a little bit more before this half has ended, as 3 rounds really is not enough to be working with heading into the second half, regardless of how much stronger you feel you are on it, because just losing the pistol and the conversions at that point would have you down on map point. So the NORDAVIND guys do have more rounds to try and find. 5 more left in the half, including this one. They deploy early utility, and this time look to go towards A main.
This is going to be a quick push forward. Marcos holding that long angle, but as he's completely stuck in a long toilet. So if they have one player anchored towards long, which unfortunately they don't, he could get flushed out easily. Kyler inside connector is holding the rotations, and the bomb is actually heading towards B. So this is a very big linchpin right now on the AVEZ side. The rotations from the NORDAVIND players up top will have to go through connect or have to run all the way back, which, oh, this slow crawl towards the B site, they might not expect it. They do get themselves a double already on the AVEZ side. Molly comes through from Harry, but Nara does get the kill onto Harry in time. They do tag him down pretty heavily with that Molly though. Nara on 11, Kai on 29, but that Molly on site's going to deter the bomb plant. Actually, Densky's getting aggressive with the bomb. Bomb is now dropped towards B short. And Bialy from heaven is giving away all the intel they need. HS gets Bialy, but will get taken down right afterwards. And that is another one for AVEZ. The money situation for NORDAVIND is looking worse and worse by the round. They can still buy reasonably, but not a full buy for their entire team.
Bates down on the Deagle, but AKs elsewhere for the NORDAVIND squad. However, AVEZ have already secured a round advantage at the end of this half, and their T side and CT side win rates on this map are virtually identical. So they're already in a good spot heading into the second half. Hara gets tagged down rather low there, just to 16 by the AWP of Markos, and now he's going to watch long for a potential repeat. Wants to be careful sticking around in the bathrooms, especially if he's going to cross now. But the T-side smoke gives him room to maneuver. Kyler falls, but this AWP may just escape to the A-bomb site.
They're gonna try and aggress that op possibly, especially with players that are low. Harry, for instance, who already got tagged before, or Croman. Harry actually gave away his AK to Fates because he's on that low armor. Does spot out the side of Croman, does not go for the wallbang play. And again, Marcos aggressing close range, but does not expect Fates to be that close. Harry will get shut down though by Kai, and it's now a 3-on-3 situation. Nice peek out wide, and Kai will get himself so many kills right there. 3 kills to his name. Tensky towards long will get rid of Bialy. Now it's a 1-on-2. It is doable, especially with Nauro being all the way towards that B site. But unfortunately, Kai picked up the big green stick and gets himself a 4K in that round to secure AVEZ the win. And now the money is, well, NORDAVIND could technically still buy a couple of AKs, but they wouldn't have any utility behind it.
And you're really seeing NORDAVIND struggling now on this T side of Overpass. I said that there was a chance for NORDAVIND on this map, but it definitely was an outside chance. And with 3 rounds remaining in the half, they're going to be desperate for all of them on this T side to avoid a potential murder here on Overpass. And heading into Dust 2, it's not AVEZ's favorite map to be playing on, but it's so loose that it really does lean into these fraggers. If they can turn up and just have a crazy game, you can really see them overcoming the NORDAVIND side on that particular map, especially when there's a lot of overtime victories and close losses recently for NORDAVIND. Of their last 6 maps played on Dust 2, they've been in 3 overtime scenarios, and both of their losses were 16-14, 16-13. So it's a very close map for NORDAVIND, and one that they don't even look particularly comfortable on, which could be dangerous if AVEZ continue dominating Overpass.
Yeah, this it's not all too set in stone. Statistics mean absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things, because a team can always have issues in previous matches, for instance. But this is going to be a 4 Galil buy, 1 Deagle from NORDAVIND. They have converted a semi-force in the past with the Deagles, so they might be able to look for one right now. It's going to be they're trying to clear out toilets ASAP, but Marcos does need to be careful on his positioning right now, because they could definitely easily flank him out or overwhelm him towards that aggressive angle, which he's been playing the last round as well. However, Croman, who does spot out Marcos, scares him off the angle, and Marcos is going to fall back towards the A site. They have 3 players now towards A, only 2 B defenders. And that is pretty much where the bomb is headed right now. Kai is jiggle peeking though, so the moment he sees any player, he should be able to toss down that smoke and play the defensive positions, which is going to push back this NORDAVIND aggression.
AVEZ are dumping their utility on A, but they have been sold the fake at the moment. The B execution is coming through, but here's Kai to deny. 4 kills for him, the last cleaned up with the USPS, and this is starting to look too easy for AVEZ. They completely shut NORDAVIND down in the late instance. One man takes down all of those rifles and finishes it off with the pistol. That's why you don't rush through smokes on executions.
Yeah, that was really painful to watch. Kai is 15-4 right now. The star player is absolutely popping off, and that is what AVEZ need. However, NORDAVIND need their players to start doing the same and get that good aggression going. Alrot is going to peek out short. Will get a 1-for-1 trade going, but Kyler towards connector is another 1-for-1. Kai is going to peek in, and of course, Kai chimes in with a double. Now it's all on Fates, 1 versus 3, and Kai's got that short control with the bomb down in towards B short as well. So this is going to be very troublesome for Fates to recover it.
with a minute 20 seconds left on the clock, it's not really viable for him to save the AK either. I mean, he might try, considering it's the last of the half next. But Kai has spotted out his positioning. Marcos actually does hit a shot there, but is struggling to find the conversion. So he'll just smoke off the bomb. And Bialy gets it done through the wall. On to Fates. 11-3 secured. 12-3 looking rather likely based on the money that NORDAVIND have available. And they have been having a real nightmare on the T side of this map.
Yeah, it's looking pretty lackluster at best for the NORDAVIND side. Will they be able to at least convert this? If they get the pistol, I mean, I've seen worse comebacks, but they really need to start at least fragging right now. And I would say possibly go A and just try to dodge Kai, because he's definitely feeling it right now. And that is their plan, heading out long. Will they go for the full push long? It did almost pay off last time with their very quick aggression. And they're going to stop their push forward. Bialy with the flash, going to peek out long quickly.
Just having a jump around. They're a bit paranoid on this NORDAVIND side of the CT AWPs, really. That's why they're taking their time before aggressing these angles. Kyler knows he needs to be careful before popping his head up through connector. And this boost, they got to be wary of it. Bialy finds one kill, but he's sold the information now. He can bring in the rotations. However, Norat's been overwhelmed from the rear, and now it's on Kyler. Big flank, but he's missing shots. They turn around, but he lines two up. That's the impact necessary. Hunting down a third kill even as both players run out of ammo. The nade might just finish it off onto Fates. Instead, it deals very little damage, but Kyler is still alive and kicking at the moment. His teammates have rotated in to defend the A bomb site, and with time ticking down, NORDAVIND still have to plant the bomb.
Yeah, Guy goes for one, goes for two, will win that round, and the first half of Overpass is done. Kai ends it with 19-5. 12-3 for AVEZ, and NORDAVIND, they have a very massive mountain to climb on their comeback.
They certainly do. The pistol, an absolute necessity. Otherwise, you're basically looking at 15-3. However you put it, that is just a dominant first half from AVEZ. And the only thing that can go wrong at this point is a choking mentality from the AVEZ squad. If they start tilting when their opponents get momentum, that's the only thing that could go wrong for them. The odds from our partners over at LootBet agreeing with my sentiments that this is an open and shut case here on Overpass. 10-1 odds against NORDAVIND now, and at a round deficit like this without the pistol, those odds are going to be even more in AVEZ's favor.
Yeah, this is looking so much like Bayern versus Barcelona. Just a complete shutdown. But yeah, AVEZ, they're on the T side right now. NORDAVIND, will they be able to throw out any kind of defense here? They do have aggressive B short control. They they're gonna go for the quick boost in connector, but they might actually just miss them. Oh no. Spots the head, but Marcos gives the call, and they're trying to run away. Back stern, both of them get taken down with the flash coming through. HS on site. Easy cleanup, and this is just absolute dominance coming out from AVEZ right here. They only lost Bialy, and Marcus even playing that aggressive angle that they won't expect at all. Luckily, Croman does shot him in with a kill, but it is all for naught. It is the pistol given to AVEZ. Of course, the conversion is possible for NORDAVIND, but it is nearly, yeah, I mean, it's pretty, just go to the next map.
That's what NORDAVIND are certainly thinking about. Their minds are definitely in dust too. They tried to get creative in that pistol, but one flash tears two players apart, and that gives AVEZ their 13th round. Now, with all these AKs and a MAC-10 on the board, the Deagles and MP9 of NORDAVIND are going to have a serious job ahead of them. They want to be able to hold on to the defense of this round. Fates is getting aggressive with the only scout, but his shots aren't quite connecting, and the nades, if they get much closer to him, he is going to be destroyed. This MAC-10 struggling against the Deagle, but Marcos has also found Tensky. The force is already going wrong for the NORDAVIND squad.
Did do a decent amount of damage to Bialy and Marcos, but you need a lot more than just damage. You need kills to turn this one around. And that is going to be pretty tough, HS, on that long-range deagle, seeing if he can find a player out. But as you can see, AVEZ, they're playing it passively. Don't want to give too much away. B-side has been completely left freely by the NORDAVIND squad, which could be pretty big. Peek out wide, Nora does get the kill onto HS, but Skylar spots two players crossing together, hand in hand, and will take them scalp by scalp.
14-3 now for AVEZ, and it should be a free 15th as well as NORDAVIND. I mean, they could force pistols and armor, but that means they're only having pistols and armor for the remainder of this map. Actually, they are going to be able to get MP9s on the board, but again, against these full AK buys, it's so unlikely that you're going to be able to come out on top. And it looks as though AVEZ have predicted the buy from NORDAVIND as well. Nobody on a Mach 10 in this round. They're all up on upgraded rifles. You have to just be careful about these close range engagements.
Yeah, that one gets won by Croman. Yeah, they made it a 1-for-1 trade, but at least he managed to upgrade his pistol, well, his gun to an AK. Fates with the scout trying to get a tag in from long range, but Will, with the shot, gets a decent tag on himself and will fall back towards the A side. Again, B has been just completely left alone by NORDAVIND, and they're going to stack that A site. Bomb is heading their direction, though, but with the position of Kai, who might just creep into that B bomb site, they might call the rotations soon enough.
Yeah. They can still go through toilets into connector as long as Croman doesn't take them all down here. He can't get any, unfortunately. Bialy with that kill might just call that the A site should be the target of attack. Fates has dropped the bomb but been overwhelmed by Bialy at close range. Kai's telling his team that this B bomb site's completely open, but the bomb's actually being flanked now by Tensky. They have to get out on site to counter the range of this MP9. It can't do it from so far away. Bialy's taken HS down, and now Tensky in a 1-on-3 scenario to try and keep his side alive.
Guy came to help his teammates towards that A side. Unfortunately, Tensky did not have a long-range weapon, so he could not really get anything done towards the long A position. Was just too far away. Bialy also started popping off as well, 19-10. I mean, this entire... if you are going to win with a 16-3 scoreline, possibly, then you probably will have some players absolutely going insane, and they definitely do on the side of AVEZ. Whereas it's not like NORDAVIND's players have been... like, they have one player being really bad or one player being really good. They've all just been, you know, stagnating at losing most of the duels.
They mollied themselves in this round as well. Look, that just shows you perhaps how tilted... Oh, AVEZ actually molotoving themselves there, so they're actually getting a bit overexcited. But NORDAVIND, they're getting aggressive on B short, and that doesn't work out so much. Hara now actually does secure Nora. That's the bomb drop, and he's in a 1-on-1 scenario with an AK-47. NORDAVIND might not be out if he can find a cheeky headshot. They have kept themselves alive at least for the moment.
Well, that is at least one for NORDAVIND added to make it look a little bit less disgraceful, but they should be snuffed out reasonably soon, especially because they won that round, but they barely have a decent buy behind it. They've got, well, mostly no head armor, a little bit of utility, and well, the rifles aren't that bad, actually. But they're up against 4 AKs with more than enough utility behind them.
It's early aggressive A presence from NORDAVIND in this round, and they need to win the gunfights this time. Bialy needs to be careful. He's going to be peaked from 2 angles at once, but still can adjust onto Tensky and win that engagement. That is wonderful work from the Polish veteran, but Hara's taken down Kai elsewhere. Croman struggles, though, in connector, and Nora finding Fate. He bails himself out. HS, though. Kyler eventually removes him, but it's all on Hara. 1v1 secured in the last round, but it would have to be a 1v2 in this one, and he's bailed out of the B bomb site, which is exactly where the bomb could be going.
Yeah, they're just afraid of where the last player is from NORDAVIND, so they'll pretty much double up. NORDAVIND's Harry doesn't even know exactly where he needs to go, because there's so much time been expended by AVEZ in the meantime, without any sound cues, so he doesn't know if they're going to head A or B, and that's why he's just going to be huddled up and play for that retake down below.
Not going to be able to deny the plant. You're absolutely right. And there are 2 smokes available for AVEZ as well, so they can just drop those in bank and towards the garbage angle. That's a really difficult 1-on-2 now for Power to try and find. He's going to go up and see 1 smoke and then go up and see the second, but they're getting aggressive through it. It does not matter. Kyler's finished it off 16-4 for AVEZ. It is total dominance on their map pick as they win virtually every gun engagement of the map. Now we head to NORDAVIND's pick of Dust 2 to see whether or not they have a chance to stay alive in this quarterfinal. Don't go anywhere.
Nice shot. Lock and load.
Wow, very good. Let me show you how it is done. Yeah, no. Woo, damn! That was one of the best nickel fights I've been to.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Malta Vibes, brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. I don't know whether we should call this tournament Malta Vibes or the AVEZ show after that complete manhandling of NORDAVIND on their pick of Overpass. 16-4, they win the first map in just 20 rounds played, and now NORDAVIND are desperate to stay alive against an AVEZ side who are firing on all cylinders. Map 2 of Dust 2 up next, and bringing you through the action is myself, Protalis, and DK Truman. How are you feeling ahead of this one?
I'm very anxious for NORDAVIND here because that performance on Overpass was very lackluster. Just straight up bad. There's nothing more that you can make from it. They need to really recover to try and take AVEZ down because they are looking like one of the favorites to take this tournament right now. They have been absolutely insane. But the next map is going to be, of course, NORDAVIND's higher win percentage map compared to AVEZ's. Just going over the statistics, though, I'm checking the games that AVEZ has played on Dust 2. And the games, the recent games against the Turkish team 9, and they won, and against Heretics they lost. But the most of the games that they actually lost were against Navi Junior, Gambit Youngsters, Endpoint. So not the weakest teams out there. They're pretty, the top of the tier 2 pretty much that they have faced in that regard. And that actually does make me worry a little bit for NORDAVIND because these statistics might be a little bit skewed because of it.
I definitely think so as well. I sort of mentioned it when we were in Overpass that even though AVEZ don't have the best record on this map, it is entirely predicated on individual fragging. If you have players turning up individually, they can dominate on maps like Dust 2 with pretty much raw aim alone. And so the first map for me was almost a firepower test to see whether NORDAVIND had the weaponry available to contest on Dust 2. And I have to say, while there were certain highlight plays from certain players, Kroman and Tensky primarily on that NORDAVIND roster, Kai and Kylo are winning pretty much every engagement, consistently getting triple kills, quad kills. Absolute insanity from those players, especially Kai, who basically just took over that map on his own. If they come into Dust 2 with a similar fragging mindset, I think NORDAVIND are going to be in serious trouble in the series.
I think in general it's going to be a really tough ordeal because, AVEZ, it's not their best map. Even if you check, they have a higher CT win percentage rate on this map than T, so that is very interesting to see, especially on a map like Dust 2, which is primarily T-sided. I do have to say that it's going to be pretty crucial still for NORDAVIND to try and get that T side for themselves because they really need the advantage here. They need to take it to a third map where they can hopefully shut down AVEZ. Otherwise, they are completely done for. But with that, we're about to go live to the knife round. And let's see what's going on over there.
NORDAVIND versus AVEZ 2, Dust 2. NORDAVIND are so desperate to stay alive in this quarterfinal. I can almost guarantee you they weren't expecting such a blowout as they received on this first map. And with AVEZ winning the knife, it's actually likely, based on what you were saying with regards to their statistics, that they're going to remain on this CT side. So try and put another strong half on the board, and that's going to be a real problem for this NORDAVIND squad. If you let AVEZ come into Dust 2 and get another early 6-1, 5-1 streak, you're in serious trouble on your own pick.
Yeah, but it's still not going to be the easiest showing at all for the side of AVEZ. NORDAVIND, they've got some pretty good statistics on that T side. So you really need to have everything ready, and especially win the pistol round here is crucial for AVEZ, for NORDAVIND, because you need to make sure that the CT defense does not have any utility.
The odds from our partners over at LootBet seem to think AVEZ have a better chance of winning Dust 2 than NORDAVIND had of winning Overpass. But actually, even for the favourites, there are quite significant odds against them at 1.74 to 1.98. It's virtually 50-50. They're just giving AVEZ at the slight disadvantage here with NORDAVIND's edge. And Tyler trying to find opening shots. Is Bialy overwhelmed first, though, and HS, he's gone big with 2 kills for his Glock.
That is a big one, but Kyler peeks out wide, gets a double, and immediately turns everything right around in favor of AVEZ. Kyler's going to hold that short angle, and yeah, that was really necessary and really surprising, even for himself, because he did not expect the T's to be that close towards long. So a good shutdown coming in, and it does seem that he's going to have to do more work here. There's going to be fake. I have no idea what that exactly was. Maybe a smoke, but Nauro does drop that bomb. HS trying to pick it up. Sorry, Harry is trying to pick it up. HS already got his head blown off cleanly, and now Kai is rotating towards the short area. Harry is running all the way towards long A, which is just a straight up weird move.
I think he's trying to bail out to the B bomb site, maybe, knowing that he's probably drawn the second player in to defend A. Unfortunately, he can't get away as Norut finds his head, and AVEZ start with the pistol round on Dust 2. But it was a map in which second round conversions were tough for NORDAVIND, so they're actually not going to be forcing up into this one. They'd rather the hard eco so they can bring the rifles out in the third.
Yeah, and that should mean that NORDAVIND shouldn't get too much done. It is the scout from Marcos through mid. Picked up, not the greatest against a pretty much full force up, full eco from the opposing team. But it does do a lot of work in the buy round. Later on anyway, this is just easy cleanup for AVEZ. Get some eco frags. Bialy drops the bomb as well, spots out the last player towards T-spawn, and the entirety of AVEZ are hunting like vultures for that kill.
And to be honest with you, there's an argument to suggest that NORDAVIND may just have benefited from not finding any kills in that round. It's now rather unlikely that AVEZ go for a full reinvestment up into M4s and AWPs on the CT side. So NORDAVIND's full gun round, or at least the first one, is going to be against slightly weaker weaponry. However, should they fail to take a victory in this round, it's going to be a perfect start to the AVEZ economy.
It definitely is. We've got 5 AKs for NORDAVIND, so they do start off with a superior weaponry altogether on the side of NORDAVIND compared to AVEZ, who do have, well, still enough money for another buy next round if they would lose this one. So this is pretty much an extra buffer round, all things considered. However, you still have to be very careful, though. That Molly is going to block their push. They do have a decent amount of utility still left on NORDAVIND as well, so they can flush out this side pretty easily, but Kai and Norut need to go big. Scout shot missed. Peek out wide. Big spray down coming through. A lot of damage being dealt. They will clean them up. But Marcos peeks in with that scout. Gets another scout headshot as well. And now it's all on Harry. Solo versus 2. Has to get the bomb plant in. And is actually going to try and clear out tunnels first. Kyler's playing close range. And Harry does kill him quickly. 3 kills already for Harry right now. Does not expect Bialy and barely loses that fight against Bialy, but AVEZ still managed to take that round away. And another one in favor of AVEZ. This is, I mean, that must have been the most perfect flash because he got a lot of shots off.
Yeah, the timing on that flashbang was perfect. So much damage dealt by the FAMAS, and Marcos on the scout could just come in and clean everyone up. But this makes me panic slightly from AVEZ. You know your opponents are dropping onto an eco at the moment, and you've picked up double AWPs. That could be dangerous, but it's more dangerous for Tensky. He is removed immediately by the first CT AWP, and Marcos now in an aggressive position has found his second kill. He can back away. Kai trying to defend him with that secondary AWP is struggling intensely, and Croman has picked him off. Now the rifles are rotating in to bail out these snipers, and the bomb has been dropped right in the hands of the CTs.
This is really greedy, going for the double up towards double doors and just jiggle peeking both. Eventually, one of these T's is going to actually get a tag on you. And you have to be careful because Marcos, for instance, is down to 9 HP, so a scout tag should be enough. That's another scout tag coming in. Push forward from HS. Luckily, they get them all shut down. They will be able to save the second op into the next round, but it's a weird move to see 2 ops holding that double door as a CT side.
And it's weird to bring them out in that round anyway, because one of the biggest advantage of having 2 AWPs on your side is that the Ts don't expect them to be there. But by bringing them out against the pistol, you show your hand very early on and tell NORDAVIND that they need to be very wary of these long-range angles. Fate is looking for feet through the bottom of the smoke to try and exploit, but he won't find any. It's a solo rifler on the B bomb site with both AWPs holding towards this A defense. Decent nade on Tahara and Croman, but as they move out of A long, they're trying to take control of this D side. I think Kyler might have just been shot in the back by his teammate even there. He does get 1 kill and back away as Marcos's first AWP has been removed, but there's still a sniper available for the CTs with long control going the way of NORDAVIND.
That is a quick move outside. That does mean that AVEZ have already heavily rotated. Look at this aggression. They're already flanking towards that A long position. And this could be pretty dangerous. Kai does not get the flick connection with that op, but their flank is being pushed in. There is a player in Tensky holding the flank, but he's the guy that has the bomb on him, so he has to leave the angle right now. And towards sight, we have Kai close range with that op playing around. But they're getting shut down right now. Kyla peeking in against Tensky. Tensky does win that duel, but Naura drops the bomb towards long. It's all on HS. Tries to win it out, but Bialy does win that duel, and eventually a victory for the side of AVEZ again.
These rounds are getting close when the full guns are out for NORDAVIND. They're just not converting them at the moment. And the real issue is the mentality perspective. They just got 16 forward on overpass. If they keep having these rounds where they're getting close but no cigar, eventually they're just going to start to tilt off the face of the earth and feel like they can't ever win engagements against their opponents. HS trying to find Kai on that AWP, but there's still 2 snipers available for AVEZ. This has kept their economy relatively stretched despite 5 consecutive wins.
Yeah, it's going to be already Fate's head taken off cleanly by the AVEZ side. And I can see why the CT side is winning more rounds than the T side, because they are definitely aggressive with their defense on that AVEZ squad. It is going to be an A short push, it seems. They do have 2 smokes and 2 flashes, so they should be able to make the cross towards sight if they play those smokes perfectly. Actually, will they play those smokes perfectly? Though they have one. Okay, that lower smoke is actually so that you can't see the head with the op. That's actually a pretty neat smoke.
Marcos has the deeper angle, but he's missed the early shot. He needs assistance now as he puts out flashbangs to try and protect himself. It looks like they can't actually deny the plant here, AVEZ. They're going to have to go for a full-on retake. There are Molotovs and HEs available. Croman tagged down to half HP by the utility, and the rest of this A-bomb site falls away rather quickly. Hara, the last alive, and he can't get anything done with that deagle. 6-0 now for AVEZ on their CT side as NORDAVIND look ahead to another gun round.
Yeah, that is, I mean, it just keeps on going worse and worse for NORDAVIND. There's absolutely no redeeming qualities here. Fate's still on 0 kills. We've got Tensky on 1 and Croman on 1. You did talk about Tensky and Croman being the only one really active in the last map as well, with some big plays coming through, and they are completely silent right now.
That could be a huge problem for this NORDAVIND squad on a map so predicated on aim as this one is. Fate, he expects that aggression, but he just misses out on the shot. He goes for a follow-up as well, but he can't stop Kai from taking this lower tunnels angle. And now NORDAVIND are really hampered in terms of map control. They know that they're probably going to have to peek directly into that sniper. And so for the first 30 seconds, they're just hemmed into these tunnels. Marcos can now watch the angle from short rather than the low ground, and they're going to be peeking the wrong side because of this, I feel.
And Fates gets a double because for some reason Marcos makes that jump and gets caught in the middle of it. HS is going to get spotted towards short, but Kyla shoots without getting a kill. Luckily, Kai gets a smoke shot onto HS. B push coming in. Harry cleans up Naurot, but luckily Kai has that big green stick, and he is definitely trying to take that duel. Fate's actually, the moment I said that he was looking really slow so far, he goes big with a triple kill and puts his team in the driver's seat to finally win their first round.
I think just a bit of a mistake there from AVEZ, getting overconfident and holding A short that aggressively. Marcos on the retreat, falling away as the second kill. That was really the devastating one. You can handle the one-man loss of Bialy, but not when you lose a double opener like that one. Tensky takes down Kyler at the end, and NORDAVIND find their first round, but they haven't broken the economy of AVEZ just yet. A full buy coming through and an opportunity to talk about our partners over at Hellcase, the biggest and most well-known case opening website with almost 100 cases, updated case battle, upgraded, dozens of giveaways per month, and loads of more unique features. Still 2 AWPs coming forward from AVEZ, and that could be significant, I suppose, as long as they don't go too aggressive again.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty much the all-out buy, lose this one, and you're down on ecos. Again, very aggressive peek towards mid, hoping that anyone will aggress forward before the NORDAVIND squad pushes out lower. And it does give him time to fall back, though, so Marcos will keep his op alive. Kai is actually not on the secondary op this time. They're putting that one towards CT, whereas Kai is holding that B side completely. Now with the op, hoping for a peek to come through. Does spot a player out, does not connect to shot. Nade's not even doing anything right there, and utility is running dry on the side of AVEZ, with NORDAVIND still having plenty of utility to use.
That could be a risk, but there are still 2 Molotovs and a smoke for the CTs. As long as they hold on to that utility, they'll have something to work with. It looks as though NORDAVIND are thinking about the mid to B execution at the moment, and that means walking into Kai and Bialy. Neither AWP is defending the B bomb site, and that could be a huge problem for AVEZ. You don't want 2 AWPs on the retake, just supported by 1 rifle. Molotov dropped in towards CT as Bialy's trying to find damage. They're all focused on mid. There are tunnels players coming yet still as well. As Krogan takes Bialy down, Kai will get the second kill in the B bomb site, and a third as well. This is high impact. The AWPer misses his shot, and Kai is firing with a USPS. How is he still alive and finding that kill? HS now has to recover the bomb, and with just under 10 seconds left on the clock, he'll have to get into B and plant it.
Yeah, Marcus will shut him down. No ace for Kai, but a massive hold from the man, the myth, the legend on AVEZ's side. Honestly, it's just a matter of time until a big organization picks him up right now, because this is absolutely insane on these plays, holding down the fort, dodging away from fakes, and even getting the headshot tap at the end right there. Beautiful stuff from Kai. Big fan, and is now actually going to be picking up that op instead of Naurot to hold the B side, but there's going to be big aggression towards A-Long. Quick shot coming in from Fates to give them again the early man advantage in favor of NORDAVIND. But look at this Kai, he's really feeling it right now with the op.
Oh, they expect it though. They peek into him, and Hara can actually convert that kill, so it's still only a 1-man advantage for NORDAVIND, as that AWP can't escape to make it even for the AVEZ side. They've got Bialy in the pit, and they have Marcos to watch the deep angle as soon as they come out of A-Long, but Bialy has to find this opening kill. Bomb drop. Now his AWPer can rotate in and support him from the close range angle, but he doesn't need it at the moment. He's found 2 kills, man advantage towards NORDAVIND as they're still trying to break into A-Long. Bialy almost gets another frag. Fates now falls, and Marcos gets it done with a double. NORDAVIND, it looks as though their troubles from Overpass are following them like a dark cloud into Dust 2.
Fates has slightly woken up as well, but it's unfortunately looking like it's not enough. It pretty much looks almost a copy pasta of the last map, except they're actually getting shut down a little bit more than they were in the previous map, and that is even more worrisome.
Advantage secured at the end of the half, and it's a semi-buy for NORDAVIND. A couple of MAC-10s supporting the pistols. They're all up in towards the B tunnels as well, and they will have a little bit of space in the tunnels to work with, but they won't be getting far into that B bomb site unless they deploy their utility very well indeed. Kai has to be pixel perfect on this. Flees to the door. Norot finds one. Kai finds another and another. Norot follows up for his second as well, and HS, he's the only man who can even deal points of damage for his squad. He'll find a kill onto Kyler, maybe get an M4 off the back of that one, but NORDAVIND have no chance in this round.
Yeah, no, bombs dropped towards that B site. HS can't really get anything else done, but he needs, well, he pretty much needs to die because he needs to buy an AK into the next. Or drop an op for Fates, which could also be the case.
That might be a good idea, actually. Fates has started to accelerate on that AWP, but actually he's only on 4 kills in the map, and that's really surprising to me because that means throughout this entire T side, all he's done is find that important triple kill, which won NORDAVIND the round, and then they got the man advantage in the round before last with that AWP early on. Other than that, he's not really been a presence on the T side, so maybe they don't want to be dropping him over that sniper rifle. You can tell they feel like they're in trouble at the moment, NORDAVIND, and they definitely are. They call a timeout as their opponents have a 9-1 lead against them when they're on the T side of their own map pick. This makes very little sense, but unfortunately for NORDAVIND, they've found AVEZ on their day. It's Norot, Kai, and Bialy here, all above double digits, with Marcos almost there as well.
Fates is going to pick up the op. I mean, you can see it 2 ways. The other way is the fact that he got 4 kills so far, and all 4 of them were op kills. So, you know, that's the only gun that has been working for him. Then he might as well just pick it up. Marcos close range towards short. Does not get the jump back around the corner. Tries to go for the repeat. Will get taken down. Nice opener from Kroman. Good flash coming in as well to get Kyler off the angle. And with that, the A side has been gifted away. That was a great pause because it does seem like they finally started to wake up. With AVEZ going for the save immediately, they will try and keep their weapons alive. They don't have the biggest amount of money on their end, so it is a very smart call to make from AVEZ.
Yeah, if they can keep these 3 rifles on the board, there will be a full buy coming out in this next round. So NORDAVIND are going to have 2, all thanks to Kroman. Doubles up early on a short and gives that round away to the NORDAVIND squad. Kai will find Hara at least at the end of the round, and that might make NORDAVIND think a little bit more before aggressing and hunting down these rifles. It doesn't look as though HS wants to actually make his way into the B-bomb site, so these 3 weapons should stay alive for AVEZ, and we will see a full buy coming out. But if NORDAVIND can come out on top of this upcoming round, they might be able to salvage this first half.
Well, salvage, possibly. They still have to swap to the CT side. Oh, and AVEZ to the T. Yes, AVEZ is better on their CT side statistically, but it still is a T-sided map, so we don't know how good NORDAVIND's defense would be, for instance. But NORDAVIND do need all 4 routes. Right now, it is going to be problematic to try and beat them. It's going to be quick aggression coming through from both sides. Flashes, everyone's blinded, but that one smoke keeps the fight off of each other. Flash coming through, but Harry plays sneakily. Tensky just spraying through the smoke, and that will be a 1 fight so far for NORDAVIND. Marcos is towards truck with that big green stick, but having to peek into Fates' op that is down below will be problematic, to say the least. And Fates is holding the angle against Marcos.
That was an opportunity for Marcos to find a quick kill. Instead, they dump a nade and cross away from the car. They're aware that NORDAVIND could be taking map control elsewhere, so they're starting to rotate over towards the B side of things. HS and Kroman are making their way into the B bomb site, but actually they're just going to stick in the tunnels and look to make chaos elsewhere. Kai, that is such an important shot to find. Brings it back into a 3-on-3 and disables the T side. Or Marcos has to hit one of these players in mid now. That's all he needs. He looks for a second, but Kroman can clean him up. 2-on-2 scenario. The bomb bails out along, but there's 30 seconds left on the clock, NORDAVIND. Where are you going to be taking it? They decide they have to go back to A, and AVEZ worry this is going to be a B execution. They've guessed it wrong, and now we're going to have to retake the A bomb site unless Kai gets perfect timing on this short player.
Yeah, this is a very nice flank indeed. They know that it's not going to be B. He's heading up towards that A site. Will he catch the cross? There's going to be the molly on site to try and keep him from the plant, but the molly is not going to be far enough. Naro takes a lot of damage as well. He tosses another molly in, and it's going to be the retake situation. Kroman and Tensky are going to try and defend this site. Kroman, nice quick tap onto Kai. Naro jumps down below, and Kroman, I think, definitely heard that. but is going to try and go aggressive himself. Gets the headshot in, and NORDAVIND get themselves their third on the board. Finally, they have started to look a little bit awake, with AVEZ being forced up to an eco.
Well, as soon as Croman starts to arrive, it's 2 rounds consecutively that he basically carries on his back there. And that is 2 consecutive rounds for NORDAVIND to pick up. I told you it's all about firepower here on Dust 2. And as soon as Croman starts fragging, NORDAVIND start winning rounds. AVEZ gamble stack the B bomb site, and it's the complete wrong call as A-Long has been taken by NORDAVIND. They decide to bail out immediately of B AVEZ and make their way back towards the A site, so they could still deal damage with this triple nade stack.
It's definitely still scary if they all group up on the side of NORDAVIND, especially if they go for the cross smokes so that they won't spot out these players, and it does seem that case. So if they group up, those nades can still rain in pretty heavily. Triple nades don't really do they don't do that much damage, but it's just easy cleanup right now for the side of NORDAVIND, and they'll get round number 4 in their favor. And that is, well, AVEZ, at least they won the half pretty dominantly. But if they make it into double digits, that would be a big plus.
They definitely have the opportunity to do so, but there's no AWPs on the board this time for the AVEZ squad. All M4s and a little bit of utility to work with in the second last of this half. NORDAVIND are just thanking their lucky stars they've been able to get some more rounds on in this half. They still need to be looking for that 6th round, though, to be able to more competitively contest their pick if they want to avoid elimination, because this T side really is no joke. And while the mid congestion does occur early on by the Rifle of Kai, he doesn't want to stick around for much longer than he has to. Short control is obtained by the AVEZ squad, but NORDAVIND have control of A-Long.
It does force out a smoke from AVEZ, who don't have the best utility still left. They have literally no mollies, whereas the side of NORDAVIND have 4 mollies, but they have no smoke, so they can't really make the cross at all. HS is creeping around the smoke. Will they expect him that close? They kind of don't, but he whiffs the spray completely, and that's a man advantage now in for AVEZ. But the fact that they don't have any smokes to make that cross is absolutely disastrous. This is going to be really tough to push into that A site with these CTs just holding all these aggressive angles, because they know exactly what NORDAVIND are planning. This is a complete perfect read.
The thing is, before the smokes come through, they almost bail out of the bomb site. Worried, perhaps, as Kyler decides to peek into all 4 and Bialy. They go one at a time, and it's totally the wrong call. They all swing out into every rifler rather than holding the angles and waiting. And that aggressive tendency from the AVEZ CT side fails them hugely on the A bomb site. NORDAVIND overwhelm them without any smokes for the cross, and Norat is desperate to try for this 1-on-3, but he's not going to get it. It's very likely now that NORDAVIND have 6 at the end of this half.
Yeah, at this point, you just want to keep that AK into the next, but he's just going to get taken down, and that is going to be a force up on AVEZ's last round of this half. Yeah, it looked like it was going perfectly for AVEZ, but as you said, they all started peeking out wide, did not connect their shots, first of all, but the fact that they all peeked out wide into those AKs was not the best call. Just wait and pounce when they make that cross, when they try to get on site and shut them down. Yes, they have mollies, but who cares?
Triple up on the T side in the early round for NORDAVIND. Eventually Tensky drops his, but they're still keeping 2 snipers available to try and convert the last of the half. AVEZ quieting down substantially on the CT side, and after that pause, really NORDAVIND have found a breath of life. Fates with a nice little collateral shutting down the mid-aggression, and it looks as though the NORDAVIND squad have a read on this CT side now, but thankfully for AVEZ, there's only 1 round until it is over. They get a chance to bring out some more surprises on the T side of things to try and keep NORDAVIND on their toes, but 6 rounds for the Nordic squad looking very likely now at the end of the half.
Yeah, they still have a pretty tough mountain to climb, though. We don't know how good their CT side is. We don't know how good the T side of AVEZ really is. And that is what is most interesting indeed. There's going to be another catch coming through. HS gets rid of Kai, and now it's Kyler and Marcos double scouts to try and retake the A site. It's near impossible. HS Gets spotted out. Gets tagged through the wall. Okay, at least a kill in favor of AVEZ, but that should pretty much be all there is to be gained.
6 secured by NORDAVIND at the end of the half then, and perhaps they're not out of it just yet, but now they switch on to what some consider to be the more difficult side of this map, that CT half, and considering how aggressive AVEZ were on their CT side, I'm really excited to see what kind of aggressive plays they bring forward onto the T side of things and how much map control they can wrestle. But really, it is all on Croman. He activates those 2 consecutive rounds that NORDAVIND need to build momentum, and after that point in time, they do continue the fragging. Now the odds are actually still more in AVEZ's favor than they were at the start of the map. You do have to agree with it, but NORDAVIND still have a chance to come alive here.
Yeah, NORDAVIND do need this pistol though. Does seem like a pretty aggressive move towards that B side, but NORDAVIND do have a nice defense. 1 mid, 2 players towards B to try and defend it, and that smoke does give them an avenue to walk forward. Of course, walking into the bullets of Croman is never fun. Smoke coming out, Molly in the back. That's going to force Croman off the angle, and he's going to double stack with Fates. But Croman chimes in, the double kill coming through, but immediately Kai and Bialy get the kills in return. Harry gets tagged down, even taken down through the smoke by Kai. Bomb's going to get planted in the sneaky cubby corner, and honestly, defending it is not the easiest from that position.
Ooh.
But that is just a great shot from Kai. Now it's all on Tensky. And this is looking disastrous for NORDAVIND. They really needed to win this one, especially after those opening 2 from Croman.
It was the perfect start, but no follow-up from the NORDAVIND squad. As Tensky's left in a 1-on-3. He won some pretty big clutches over there on overpass, but 3 players in the pistol might be more than he can manage. On 4, he just wants to back away and save his armor. He has no time to defuse that bomb, and he knows it. Double digits finally secured by AVEZ on the first round of the second half. Bialy can't quite take down Tensky at the end, but that doesn't matter too much in the grand scheme of things. Tensky's going to have a slightly better weapon if NORDAVIND decide to force this second round, but they didn't do it on the T side, and you have less money available on the CT. That's not going to deter them from picking up the Deagles and Scouts they want, though.
Yeah, they kind of need to win this. You don't want to give the T's a decent enough economy, especially not with on a map like Dust 2. It is going to be heavy defense towards that B side. 1 player towards A, and Harry playing the truck angle with the Deagle. And look at this quick, heavy rush coming through from the side of NORDAVIND, holding 1 player inside tunnels, but it definitely has been heard by Kyler. They're playing that bait and switch kind of game here on the side of NORDAVIND, and they know. They know exactly, or do they know actually, that the Deagle is close range. Harry finally gets the kill, and actually a man advantage all of a sudden for NORDAVIND, and Naurot and Marcos are running a little bit low on HP. Marcos with the scout, Naurot 2 HP and an AK, and this force up might actually just about do it.
There's a big flag coming from Croman at the moment as well. Marcos needs to get on a different weapon instead of that scout, and Norat might even want to pick up the sniper himself. He doesn't want to walk any far forward, Marcos, though, to try and recover an AK, so he'll rather take Norat's, but they can't even really consider going to the B-bomb site at this point. Croman is so aggressive and out in mid. There are 2 NORDAVIND players waiting. Norat is now down on just 2 HP. It's going to be Marcos sprinting towards the A site looking for a plant, but it's a 1-on-3 clutch he needs with an AK. They're flanking him really quickly. He has no idea of this either.
3 players towards A long. Is going to plant. Oh, he's not even ducking. We'll get the headshot onto HS. So that's a nice one. They're coming from 2 different angles at the same time, though. If he wins these 2 1v1s, that shot from Tensky is going to drag the attention. And Marcos, will he make that 1v3 clutch actually possible right now versus Croman? He knows Croman is close, but Croman wins that duel, shuts him down, and will be able to save this round for NORDAVIND. It almost paid off for Marcos, but he did in the end lose that fight.
Big plays from Croman, and really, that's been the difference maker. As soon as Croman wakes up in these rounds, NORDAVIND start winning them. A vital force buy for them to take control of, and a bit of a nightmare for AVEZ now, as they probably don't really want to be buying up into this one. They could just eco and get much better weaponry out in the next. So they're denied the early advantage in the half they were so desperately looking for, and this NORDAVIND squad now has an opportunity to stay alive in the series.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty strong buy next round, though, for AVEZ. They have plenty of money in their bank account for a full buy. And this is pretty much just feed away those Glocks. 1 P250 to this NORDAVIND squad. They'll get themselves a good chunk of change. Tensky close range, just trying to go for some spray fights. Who gets the most kills in this round? And it's going to be Tensky winning ahead. All of them staying alive on NORDAVIND, and their bank account is flushed as well.
Now the first full gun round coming through from AVEZ. It's going to be an eco at the end of this should they lose it. And that means NORDAVIND then would basically have tied up the scoreline here on Dust 2 with an opportunity still to take us to nuke. AVEZ, after winning the pistol, probably thought their opponents were out for the count on this map, but they get surprised with the force at the end. Marcos unable to win the 1-on-3 clutch, and now they're committing heavily towards long. It's read beautifully by NORDAVIND. There's 4 players here from the CT side to contest, and they're completely blind from AVEZ. Somehow they still haven't fallen, but eventually the CT side, of course, is going to get these frags. It's a total stack towards long, and they just tear AVEZ to pieces.
Yeah, that was so incredibly close, but unfortunately did not pay off. Croman playing the off angle, but does get spotted out by Naurot because he's hiding in too far. The bomb is still towards A, has to make a massive rotation, and they don't have... Okay, they do have 1 smoke for the cross, but they should be able to get the bomb over there with the shot from Marcos to shut the player down in mid. That is going to be a 2 versus 3 situation, and NORDAVIND are still towards A long.
They haven't spotted the bomb out yet. That's the issue. They could just expect Marcos to be a lurker in this scenario, but the bomb is now going to be planted on the B bomb site, and those rotations came through rather quickly considering they had no idea about the sound cue. Basically, immediately as the plant come through, they start to maneuver, and Fates has taken down Marcos. That should be the round over now, as Norot would need a quad kill in this one. 1 versus 3 at the end as well, and he's not even in the site.
Yeah, they're gonna triple up as well together so that the refrag potential is there, but they now know that he's most likely on the outside. They shut him down quickly, and the bomb defuse will come in barely on time, though. It got a little bit too dicey there. Unfortunately, they did not manage to turn that one for AVEZ. Got pretty close, but this is going to be a semi-force in there on their side, and hopefully they will be able to secure a bomb plant so that they can full buy into the next.
9-1 at the start of this map, AVEZ were. And now it's 1 away from 10-10. Total control loss from the Polish squad here. The opportunity to shut down this series with a very fast 2-0 has perhaps all but disappeared now, as NORDAVIND are shutting them down time and time again. Just Eagles to work with, 3 of which have no body armor for this AVEZ squad. They're going to try and make their way out into the B bomb site by the looks of things, but the Molotovs have hemmed them in, and NORDAVIND have such a great read. They seem to know exactly where these AVEZ players are, and they're already all stacked up towards the B bomb site pretty much. The aggressive short positions, just playing for fast rotations.
Densky playing in the angle Croman did last round. Bialy gets 1 kill for his troubles, and that should pretty much be the end of it. Tries to get another, but they just get shut down because, as you said, they had the perfect read. The moment some utility flew over towards that B site, they just completely stacked in and shut NORDAVIND down. Now we're going to have to see another full buy coming out from AVEZ, and hope for them that they'll have some decent strats. Kyla is actually the only one that's not on double digits this map, which is surprising after they were 9-1 ahead, as you said, but they have not had much work in their favor recently. Pretty aggressive smoke thrown out, though, from the NORDAVIND side right there, so you got to be a little bit careful. Flash coming over, Harry's going to peek. Does not get a single kill, though. That was a little bit problematic. They do have Fate still trying to hold the angle, but there is a pretty big stack. He's going to peek out wide. Is going to whiff that shot as well. All of a sudden, they forgot how to frag on the side of NORDAVIND.
That nade does a heavy amount of damage, though. Tags down a couple of players, and with a gap in the smoke like this, Tensky might just be able to exploit it. They have to drop a second one to mask it, and they drop the flash, and the spray off the back won't be able to connect. HS overwhelmed on the A-bomb site. That's got to be a save from Tensky and Kroman. They don't really want to peek the AWPer towards mid, so they bring their M4s over to the B site. A buy still coming out for NORDAVIND, but AVEZ breaking the CT streak.
However, the CTs definitely have more than enough money to buy into the next and probably the one after that as well. So they still have to keep up this aggression on AVEZ's side. Keeping all 5 players alive is a big must, though, and they definitely do a good job at that. It helps that NORDAVIND just completely whiffed all their shots.
That does benefit them quite a bit there, and I think you can see that where Hara was trying to engage towards the bottom of A long there, he was just sort of trying to edge out around and overextend to make sure he can convert those 2 kills, but he's worried about going too far away from the wall so that he can't rotate in back to his defensive position in time to prevent a trade frag from coming through. And what that means is that he's just stepping and tapping, stepping and tapping, stepping and tapping, because he's not quite far enough out to hold down for a full spray down and line them both up. And that means the flash has enough time to dissipate and he does get taken down. You're right, though, it's full investment from an NORDAVIND in this one, and maybe even in the next as well, considering Kroman and HS have hefty cash reserves available. Fates, even as long as they save some rifles with the loss, NORDAVIND can still be bringing a buy forward. So AVEZ have probably 2 more consecutive rounds to win before they put their opponents on an eco.
They're expecting that short aggression from NORDAVIND very heavily. They are throwing a lot of utility to try and block them from peeking. Marcus is holding the angle with the op as well. They are leaving that A side pretty much, well, A long completely. Fates with that close range op is gonna whiff the shot. Of course, it is very hard to make that one connect. He's gonna go for the repeat, though. Molly to try and burn off Naurod's position. He jumps back in time, and Tensky shuts him down, but luckily Marcos does chime in for the kill in return, and it is gonna be a long A push coming through. Harry does need to go big this time to try and defend the site. There's gonna be, I guess, HS a peek through the smoke.
Waiting for a flash from his team, and out he goes, but Kyler's already in front of him. Hara can make an advantage of the confusion for a free kill, and a second on to Kyler. Make it a third on to Bialy. NORDAVIND hold on to the A-bomb site this time. Absolute massive play from the rifler, and now Marcos is left in another clutch situation. I have this scratching feeling in the back of my brain that NORDAVIND are taking us to Nuke.
AVEZ's CT side looked pretty good, but their T side just looks massively unprepared for this NORDAVIND side. Their reads have been phenomenal. Unless they completely whiff their shots, their defenses have been pretty good as well. But this is going to be another full force between the 2 sides. Let's see if AVEZ will be able to convert this one in their favor, though.
It's total desperation. They need to win this round, AVEZ, otherwise they're going to be down on an eco. That's 13-11, but it's Norot. Massive double entry towards A. Short Bates is here with an AWP, but he's missed an important shot. That's the round fallen apart. 4 men already defeated for the NORDAVIND squad, and Kroman hasn't even hit the shot with the AWP. He finds the follow-up onto Norot, but on 19 HP, they're literally whittling him down in the corner. He's drumping to try and avoid that spray, but eventually Kyler takes him down. A quick one to fall apart for NORDAVIND, as they actually do have Fates disconnect now. Perhaps he was having some technical issues that prompted his missed shot in that last round.
Now that was a very quick aggression coming out from AVEZ. They were playing with the 2 ops on NORDAVIND as well, so they weren't ready for that heavy short push. They definitely weren't ready with both of them getting flashed off the angle and immediately shut down. Very quick round coming through, but the money right now for NORDAVIND is not that great. I don't know how much, of course, Fates has left. It could be a pretty, just a straight up very weak buy if they went for it, or you could go for a semi-buy, which does put you in a problematic situation nonetheless. They are going to go for that force up. Will be lackluster in weapons. Decent amount of utility probably behind it. So never mind. They went for multiple M4s. Their utility is going to be absolutely dreadful.
That's the unfortunate factor for this round for NORDAVIND, and there's one more sad fact to think about as well. If they lose this gun round with the lack of utility, they're 13-11 down. They've got to take an eco. That's 14-11 then for AVEZ before they get guns out again. They'd be fighting to deny map point. Marcos just misses the timing there on the crosses through smoke, but they've gamble stacked into B at the moment, and it is really the wrong call. However, this has worked out previously for them. They just pushed the B tunnels for early info. Now they know it's not going to be a B attack because they haven't spotted anyone mid, so they will commit the rest of the players towards A until they hear any more sound out of Croman indicating that an execution may be coming through.
Yeah, they're not heavily stacking towards that B site either. Bialy is going to peek the angle, will shut down Harry, and with the smoke cross, it should be hard to get a shutdown coming through. Maybe a nice little spray through. HS going to go close range, peek up on top. Bialy some damage dealt. Guy got heavily tagged though, but they're going to get the bomb plant in. And yeah, NORDAVIND are completely flushed out, so they're going to call the save. You said it that they knew what was coming, and it seems they completely were not ready for it. They just let the site stay alone. They pushed out B tunnels. They knew they weren't in B tunnels. Then there's probably one other way that they normally would go, and they didn't even defend it at all.
I think what works out really well for AVEZ there is how little utility they use in their A long take, because I think it's just one flash and one Molotov that gets deployed. NORDAVIND believe that it's just the lurker playing around that A long ramp, so even when Bialy finds the opener, their players who were on B are still in mid because they believe it could be a mid to B execution, or at least some kind of a short take in that round that they were perhaps looking to get the flank on for. They seemed completely unaware that it was the A long take despite that early info. You're absolutely right, but at least they've saved 4 rifles forward. That's better than utilizing an eco in this round, but they are still at a firepower disadvantage.
Oh, Fate's trying to go for that duel, will not find the connection onto Marcos because he just jumps away right on time. Now they're going to get aggressive towards that A short. A long has been gifted away again. Naurot is playing that sneaky lurker over there and might just go for the crawl towards that A site sooner rather than later.
Well, if they can commit Marcos to the angle as well, dump a bunch of utility down long, that's a pretty decent fake sold. It might even bait Croman into rotating over. He's already gone to the A site before any utilities even been deployed, so they've left HS totally alone on the B defense. That could be a vital error for this NORDAVIND squad should AVEZ choose to go out of the tunnels. HS is going to have to do so much to keep his side in this round.
And they're trying to bait them out towards that A site, and it is a perfect bait. 4 players towards A. HS, does he expect them to slow walk through? Is he going to go for the peak? This is going to be Kai shutting him down, and again, they just slow walk it the entire time, and it keeps paying off. NORDAVIND are not aware if there's not any utility being thrown out. Harry does push forward to the tunnels quickly, but Naurot is holding that angle as well, and Harry will get shut down pretty easily right there. And with that, another save call made by NORDAVIND. It is looking disaster after disaster, saving up the entire time. And Marcos is actually trying to hold off that save possibility, but the sound cue has been spotted out by Tensky, who gives it away to Fates that he should probably not cross.
It's 2 gamble stacks in a row from NORDAVIND that are on the wrong side of the map. AVEZ might just have gotten a read of this game at the last possible moment. 14-11 will be the score, as these 3 rifles are likely to be saved forward. They are actually sending Norrant out alone just to see if he can find anyone peeking into him, but obviously NORDAVIND are going to remain passive and try and hold on to those weapons. HS can get a buy in, and Fates can drop for Hara as well, should he need to. So there is a full buy available for the NORDAVIND squad, but they need to start winning rounds again. The leadership has been a bit off. The tactical calling basically causing the last 2 rounds to be lost.
Yep, it's a little bit unfortunate that it's not been paying off, but they do have another full buy coming through. Flash out mid, rushing through. Kai gets one, but luckily enough, Fates does defend that mid before Kai gets the recovery from his AK going. However, A has been completely left alone. Bialy gets a kill, and with that, they can just push out short because they know that there's no one around the area. Another round where it's just they're letting one of the sites completely unguarded, and they just shut them down. NORDAVIND back on another save.
NORDAVIND are basically desperate to win the early kills. That's their whole game plan at the moment. Take fights immediately and then try and win the man advantages so that when we are retaking these bomb sites, at least we can utilize a trade fragging strategy. But what it's meant is those adaptations to their expected early play has left their bomb sites completely open. You make the point perfectly. Fates misses a shot now and has to back into the tunnels. He will get Nora eventually. Croman finds Bialy, but it could be the last round of the map. So these remaining 2 rifles are still going hunting.
Yeah, they want to drop that up especially. And they do. Croman, close range. Will he recover it? Yes, he will, just in time, because they desperately need that big gun on their side.
At least 1 less rifle brought forward for NORDAVIND than they otherwise would have with the save. AVEZ now 1 round away from 2-0 our first quarter final of the day. NORDAVIND, they did so much to bring it back up to that tied scoreline. They nearly even took the lead, I think, but Marcos, he's taken down Croman now. Bialy's out A-long totally alone, and he's taken down Hara as well. HS actually finds 2 back there, but A site is completely under the control of Norrut as he spots out ahead as well. All he'll need to do is get the info on the remaining players, and he could send the bomb over to the B bomb site. Instead, he stays aggressive, and he gets 2 kills. That is insane from Norrut. He's left Fates alone, finds a single shot with the AWP, but Fates is paranoid about the play from long, and the bomb is backing out to B. Kyla is going to be able to flank Fates as well in CT, and that is it all over. Ladies and gentlemen, your first confirmed semi-finalists of the day are going to be AVEZ after a comfortable 2-0 victory over NORDAVIND.
That was, wow, I did not expect. I mean,